Live. We're live. I'm sorry. I forgot to go to the countdown.
You ready?
You know what? Hey, I'm going to hit the countdown anyway. So, what the hell? Let's do it.
Welcome to the Michelle Mission, Two Men, One Podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I am joined as always by my partner.
Hey, what's up? This is Len, aka the Bat Tribble.
And on this, the second week of Black Music Month or African American Appreciation Month, depending on how you want to name it, we are continuing our yearly exploration of films that feature Black music. And this week, we are going to spend some time with a bit of a musical period piece. Whether or not this is an actual musical or not, we will talk about it. But music is certainly centered in this film with Ving Rhames, Terrence Howard, Faison Love, Paula J. Parker, Ben Vereen, Paula Patton, and although it is not their official introduction to the world of film, I think we could argue that this was their coming out as actors. Starring Big Boi and Andre 3000, better known as Outkast. We are, of course, talking about 2006's Idlewild, the choice of Lynn Webb. But before we get to the wildness in the idol, whereas we sit idle in the wild. Lynn.
Yo, what's up, Vince? What's up? Shout out to you, Vince, and shout out to each and every one of you out there joining us, watching us as we are streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook in both the Michelle Mission Facebook group and YouTube channel, as well as in the Tribble Nation Facebook group, and I believe we're on the Black Tribbles Facebook YouTube channel as well. So,
all right,
what's up, everybody? Shout out to y'all. I don't know how the weather is where you live, but where I'm living, it is blazing hot. It is very, very, very hot. We had like a quick storm. It did nothing to cool it off. I've got fans going here in my house left and right, but it is insane, man. I just feel like sweat. I literally feel sweat right now dripping down the side of my body. It is really hot over
there. Nice.
Well, that ain't nothing nice. that ain't nothing nice.
It is hot. It is hot.
It is indeed. We actually, I saw that we.
Thank you. You know, welcome everyone who's joining us live. Who all is in attendance? Lynn, the heat is steaming your brain. You know, I like the rigor of what we do at all times. Like if we skip over something, it throws me off. Like I'm not quite Thelonious Monk, having to put on my shoes the same way every day, but you gotta say goodbye to everybody, or you gotta say good evening to everybody, or else it's gonna throw me off for the rest of the night.
All right. Well, hello to everyone out there in the Facebook group and on YouTube. I did say that already, but okay. Hello, action figure expert, Blue Girl 718, Bree 517, Robert Monroe Jr., Aaron Fry, Jeffrey Thomas, each and every one of you out there in the chat. Hello.
Hello. What's going on? You know that's also my romper room thing.
Really?
We have talked about me in romper room numerous times. How Miss Sally never saw me. So I
Oh
like to
yes,
see
yes,
people. Yeah. So
yes. We have talked about that. We
yeah.
have talked about that many times,
But
and
please continue.
I'm sorry for you. Um,
I should probably go talk to somebody about that.
you should, Vince. You really should. I was pretty sure that we had gotten a message on. Here we go. Yes, from Justice Raji hit us up in our in a Facebook Messenger
Hey, what's up, Justice Raji?
and notices that catching up on the show, I sit in equal anger thinking of anyone finding 53 people to sing anything before we call Luther Vandross. It
Oh
is
my
one of
goodness.
those two American things for sure. Appreciate you guys. Keep it up. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you. Speaking of
Yeah.
rage inducing things.
Yes, yes. And well, it's apropos to bring that back up for African American Music Appreciation Month, to bring up Luther Vandross and some voices that we don't hear anymore. One, because unfortunately they are no longer with us, and two, because for reasons unbeknownst to me, I think some voices have tended to, I guess, age out of
Yeah.
popular culture or
Yeah.
or what have you, or certainly with radio. I mean, of course, like the Quiet Storm keeps a lot of older sounds going, but like I was thinking about that the other day, and maybe not so much with Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross has a
Hmm.
couple of more than a few timeless hits that will
Sure.
always keep getting played on. Like I said, if no other place than at least like the Quiet Storm radio
Sure.
sections, right? But I was thinking about somebody like Freddie Jackson, who
Yes.
I never like me myself. I never really truly warmed to Freddie Jackson like that,
Right.
but
Right.
he
Me either.
was a
Me either.
name. He
Absolutely.
wasn't, you know, um, and yet you don't hear Freddie too much, and he was a big name for his time.
There was something I read like 5 or 6 years ago talking about the politics of classic rock
Okay.
and how the algorithm that is used and the programmers basically decided or decide present tense what will and will not move into the
Hmm.
future and say, okay, this is classic rock. Like if you weren't there, all you really hear is what the programmers put on these stations.
Right.
And I always think about there's a station here in Philadelphia. So we have a classic rock station, but then we also have like, almost an alternative station
Hmm.
that plays rock music basically from the 90s. And we were there. And it is fascinating to hear what all is making the cut
Right.
and what all isn't making the cut. Like I was on the way. It's so fun. It's weird. Always, I never know what direction these conversations are going to go. But we were coming home and I was listening to it, and they played "Creep" by Radiohead off of their
Okay.
first album. And
Not the first creep I think of, but I'm with it. Go.
right,
Go.
no, not TLC's "Creep,"
Right.
"Creep" by Radiohead, and off of Pablo Honey, which is kind of interesting because many of us, when we think about Radiohead, we think about the music that came out of damn, and I just lost it.
I'm no help for you.
Right, but it's the big so not Kid A. It's the one. Give me 1 second because I'm going somewhere with this, and hope maybe someone will put it in the chat. My goodness, I can't believe
Let's see how
I
many
just.
Radioheads we can have amongst the missionaries.
Where is it? 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 Okay, Computer. Okay,
Okay.
Computer, which was sort of where they got kind of almost electronica.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was listening, and they were playing Creep, and I was like, wow, you don't hear a lot of Radiohead pre OK Computer. And Radiohead is huge. But just that, the fact that this kind of big hit that they had, they don't play it that much. And
Mm-hmm.
this station plays like, they play Nirvana and they play some Pearl Jam, like the big 90s stuff. But it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff that doesn't get played. And I think you're right. Just to pivot to the Quiet Storm, I think there are a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, and a lot of songs that were around
Mm-hmm.
that you don't hear as we move away from it. And the programmers kind of put together these playlists on these, for lack of a better word, oldie stations.
Right.
And you do wonder about what goes into those choices and who decides what makes the cut. Something that you and I are talking about for something we're doing later this week. The flip side is you have a group like New Edition,
Yeah.
who they never ever stopped playing New Edition songs. Like they've been playing stuff off of Any Heartbreak since Any Heartbreak came out.
Right.
I don't think there was a time they ever stopped playing like Candy Girl.
Right.
And certainly, Bobby Brown has, into perpetuity. But it is
Right.
kind of fascinating who does and does not make the cut with this kind of stuff. And I didn't notice Freddie Jackson because I have to say, like, I've been turning from You Are My Lady since it was actually out. So I've never noticed a Freddie Jackson. But that is interesting. You think that Freddie Jackson is fading away because he's not being played on the stations.
I think he is. I think he is fading away. And there's another name who I think is fading away, but I could be wrong because I don't listen to easy listening or jazz as much as you. But you tell me, are people still checking for Will Downing?
I'm going to say no.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
so random. I feel like sometimes you're like Alexa or Siri and you're listening in on me. We had a whole Will Downing. We had a whole Will Downing conversation in my house last week. It was like Will Downing and who was the other dude we were talking about? Because we were talking about those dudes.
Okay.
It's like
Well, Will Downing and Freddie Jackson are almost like the same guy.
Right. And it was like, how come what happened to Will Downing?
Well, I mean, I do on the radio. Because I
on
know
the radio.
Yeah, because he had some personal, like some health issues. I do know that.
Sure.
I actually had fun this week introducing our social media person, Toya, introducing
My
her.
wife just texted me, Keith Washington. But Keith Washington, I think Keith Washington fumbled the ball. Like Keith Washington was right there. Like he had Kissing You and he had the mustache. Remember he had the wavy mustache?
He had waves all over.
Like
yes.
He was all waved up in his mustache. And it was like, if Keith Washington has one more hit, he's about to be the king of adult contemporary R&B. And he just never had it.
Yeah, I know. And he had a lot of good stuff. Jeffrey Thomas says that Will Downing is the most underrated singer. He has great music and I play him all the time. So there you go. That's cool. That's cool. I had fun.
You introduced Toya.
I introduced Toya to my favorite one of my favorite songs of all time. But it is easily, and by that, it is also my favorite duet of all time. And she had never heard it. It's by Gerald Levert and Tamia. They do a version of Close to You. And it appeared on both of their albums. Both of their albums at the time, it appeared on both of them. I don't remember the name of Tamia's album. I believe it was on Gerald Levert's Stroke of Genius or album.
You know the name of a Gerald Levert album.
Hey, I
It's
can't.
impressive.
I'm keeping that name alive. All right, I'm keeping
All
Gerald
right,
Levert.
all
I'm
right,
keeping Gerald Levert. I will keep
yeah,
Gerald Levert alive. One, because I have an appreciation for the man's voice. The man can sing his ass off.
right.
Two, because he is one half of one of my 10 favorite songs of all time, Close to You with Tamia. And three, because he was the star of one of the greatest concerts I went to of all time. That man put on a hell of a show. Had a great
Okay,
time.
all right, all right.
But this song, I couldn't fathom in my mind that, you know, Toya, who actually, for those who don't know, while she is our social media director, she has actually covered music for
Mm-hmm.
almost her entire life, which is why it led to the 2 podcasts that she does. She had never heard this song, and there are a lot of people I have run up to who have never heard. You've never heard that? You don't strike me
I'm,
as a
I'm,
Gerald Levert fan
I'm not a huge Gerald Levert fan.
or a
No,
Tamia fan.
I'm not a huge Tamia fan. She seems like a very pleasant person, though.
I love myself some Tamia. I fell in love with Tamia just from her music, and then when I saw her, I was like, oh my god, Grant Hill, you are a lucky man. So, in case you didn't know, she's married to Grant Hill.
I did know that.
He's a basketball player, Vince,
I did know that.
a Hall of Famer.
Okay, look, man, I'm with you. I'm
Okay,
with you.
okay. So I'm curious. Well, you've never heard that song. I will introduce it to you.
Okay.
I want you to. I'll send you the link so you can check it out. I think you will like it because it's an amazing cover to this song. But I'm curious, where do duets fall for you? Do you have like a favorite duet? Or are you just a straight Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell guy?
No. There's a running joke in my house that I always say Alexander O'Neill and Sherelle were the Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell of the March of 1982.
Oh, please.
Like 1 month. Like they had one real strong month.
They had no, they had one weekend. And you know what? You know what day that was?
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Was it Saturday Love?
It was Saturday Love.
Yeah. I don't know. I like a lot of duets. You know.
You can't come up with one now.
I'm about to say off the top of my head, I really like Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack's album.
Oh well, hell, you can't go. I mean, dog, drop the mic right there.
Yeah,
drop the mic right there, man.
So that might be my favorite duet duo. So that's my duet. But I am kind of fascinated by that vein of like everyone you're talking about, like that Freddie Jackson, Keith Washington, Will Downing, like floating right up against smooth jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Like that demographic that Kim has sort of gathered.
You want to talk about a brother that I do not get? I've never gotten the fascination with Kim.
I don't understand how everyone you just named and you don't understand Kim. Kim is the final form of everyone you just named.
Well, I'm not a big Freddie Jackson, Will Downing fan. Keith Washington is something different. Keith Washington is not smooth jazz. Keith Washington is R&B.
No. He's right there though. Like he's
right
there. Like it's real. It's like that Gerald Albright. Like it's real smoothed out. Like it's real smoothed out. I always said when people graduated, got their first job and bought a townhouse and they had like white leather furniture. They had white leather furniture and they got a job down at Social Security. They got a good job.
And baby got braces. I give my baby braces.
Right. Well, not even not quite yet. Like I'm not married. I don't have kids, but I just got a good job. You can pass drug test.
I can't pass it.
You can pass the drug test.
That's the
We're all
bar.
over the place. We're all over the place. But you know what? This is what happened when the kids don't. This is the kids. This is what happened when the missionaries don't send letters. You remember sitting around and dudes was trying to get ready to pass drug tests? They'd be running around in them sweatsuits and drinking Golden Seal and big old bottles of water. It was like, oh, somebody trying to pass the drug test. It was that transitional period. It was a transitional period. People had graduated and were trying to get into jobs.
It'd be outside the lab.
Yep. Now you
It'd be right outside the lab.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Gallon of water and Golden Seal. Drink Golden Seal. And have on the sweatsuits that look like aluminum foil. Because they were trying to sweat it out.
Wait a minute. This reminds me. I swear to God, I went with my boy. He went for a drug test to become a cop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
he had to clean himself out for like about like 6 months, right? So me and my other boy, we went with him like to the lab to take the drug test. My man, we was outside in the car. My man took a blunt out his pocket, lit it, gave it to my man, and said, "Hold that." Came back and blew that blunt up all by himself.
I ever tell you I almost got a job in IT?
I think I've heard this story.
Yeah, because that was like that. Like I would like that was never really like that was never my vice really.
Right.
So like I always had like weed was not. So I always had clean urine. So there was a job. I used to work at the library, and there was a job in IT, and I know nothing about computers, but I kept passing the drug test.
Right. So that's how you. I remember.
Like I kept passing it. Right. Like I could turn the computer on and off, and I could pass the drug test. It was like a bunch of 25-year-olds going out for the job, and I was the only one that could pass the drug test.
Just think, Vince, if you had gotten that job and stayed there for 30 years, you could have retired at age 48.
Right, exactly. Look, it was the most useless edge that I had on people for about a year or two.
The missionaries, I don't know if they're enjoying our conversation. They're going back and forth about duets. Deborah Battle said that Luther Vandross was a great duet partner with many women. Maybe in the studio, not on stage. Bree 517 says that Mariah Carey and Luther remake song was always my favorite. It took me years to find out that wasn't the original version. I don't even know what song she's talking about.
I don't. Yeah.
I don't even know. I didn't know Luther Vandross did a duet with Mariah Carey. Like when I think of Mariah Carey duet, I think of the one she did with Wanye from Boyz II Men.
Right. I'm sorry. Now I'm on Old Dirty Bastard because him and Mariah go back like babies and pacifiers.
Well, there you go. Speaking of hip hop, action figure experts got love for Firm Business by Foxy Brown and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
and Toya.
Early.
Toya, she wanted to reclaim her title. There's a duet she did hear about. The Mariah Carey Luther song was "Endless Love."
Oh, so that's not. She's not talking about the Lionel Richie Diana Ross one,
right? Which to me is better because that's the one I know. I don't even know the Mariah Carey Luther.
So here's my funny Diana Ross, Lionel Richie, Endless Love story. My dad used to love Diana Ross.
Okay.
Like my dad loved Diana Ross. I heard my father speak ill of Diana Ross one time in his entire life. On Diana Ross's album, she has a version of Endless Love that she sings without Lionel Richie.
What, she
So
just got somebody from the band singing or
no,
something?
no, no, no. She just sang it by herself.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's
okay.
a duet. I think it was on. I think that might be from like the Blue Lagoon soundtrack. Something
Mm.
random was a huge hit on her album. She sang it by herself, and my father thought that was bad form for her to take money out the mouth of that Lionel Richie. That man from the Commodores could use that money. So whenever I think about Endless Love, I think about how there was a crack in the relationship between Diana Ross and my father over Endless Love.
He's got a good point, though.
It was just super random. It was just the most random thing that was his line in the stand. Diana Ross in Endless Love, she had let Lionel Richie be on the version on her album.
He's got a good point.
Man.
Bree 517 says that the Mariah Carey version is better. First of all, it's not a good song, so I don't really care ultimately which one is better. It's a very trite, insignificant piece of pop fluff. It's not a good song. I'm sorry.
You're real aggressive about Endless Love.
It's not a good song. It's Vince. Come on, put on your critic hat. Is Endless Love a good song?
I mean, it's disposable. Early 80s,
disposable.
Look, Endless Love.
That's where you're going.
Endless Love is part of my ongoing argument that R&B music pushed us into hip hop because it had become kind of pablum.
Mm-hmm.
And Endless Love is no worse than anything else than people were making in the early 80s.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I'm a little kid in the back of the car listening to Al Green and the OJ. Speaking of the LeBert family, the OJs and Aretha Franklin, and now we've moved into this kind of stuff. I need something a little harder. What's Melly Mel doing?
Well, okay, fair enough. Well, there you go. So that's what you have to think. You have to. Gangster rap came because of Endless Love.
And by gangster rap, just hip hop. Like just hip hop.
I'm not going to say hip hop because hip hop in itself is not a bad thing, and that is a beautiful thing. But it's dive or fall into gangster rap, which I think for the most part is nothing but negative, is because of the trite of Endless Love.
That's your argument.
I drew that. That's my line in the sand.
That's your line. You're gonna skip over the 10 years of hip hop and go right to
gangster rap.
NWA.
And the NWA. Okay. NWA is because of Endless Love.
Because of Endless Love. All right. Look,
yes.
Okay.
And what's worse, NWA is because of the version of Endless Love that appeared on Diana Ross's album without Lionel Richie.
My dad is looking down from heaven and he's giving you a nod.
That's right.
Well, you never know where we're going to go. Before I've said before, y'all don't write letters. You know what? You don't write in. We just going to talk about whatever we want to talk about.
And that's when we get the letters about, I wish y'all could just get straight to the movie. Or at least put a timestamp of when the review of the movie starts.
Well, this is your fault because you start talking about radio programming, which is super interesting to me. The politics of it.
I know. If only we could do something like, I don't know, sit around in a lounge and just binge out on type of stuff like this.
Here we go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me just let you know that the last week of June, Vince and I will be doing a binge lounge right here live on Facebook and YouTube. So we don't know what we're going to be binging about. Let us know. Write us. write us. Let us know on Instagram, on all the social medias.
Right.
Let us know, what do you want us to binge lounge on the last week in June. Hit us up on social media: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Michaud Mission. Email us at michaudmission@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to talk about on that last week. We also should tell you that, give you a little peek. Vince and I will be back here on StreamYard tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. T- Tomorrow night. Vince
We're
wasn't
doing
aware
it
of.
live. I thought we were just going to say.
Why not? We are going to be back on StreamYard. Why not?
You a wild boy.
Why not? Why not? We're going to be back on StreamYard tomorrow night at 7 o'clock to record our episode for next week. Why? Because Vince is going on vacation, but we don't want to run a rerun, so we got to do a brand new episode.
And this is just what I was talking about before we started, about how it's a whole different thing. Like, you want to keep it live, then you got to do live stuff.
Exactly. So we're going to be doing
Okay.
this live tomorrow.
Alright.
So we won't be streaming next Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be on vacation. There'll be a brand new podcast that'll post that week.
Yeah.
But that will be the podcast that we record tomorrow night right here on StreamYard as we review Scott Joplin
Right.
tomorrow night.
So, if you're free, I know I stay overscheduled. So we understand you can't hang out tomorrow night. Like, okay, Tuesday you hang out with the Michaud dudes, but Wednesday you got other stuff to do. We won't be offended. But if you are free, we'll be here.
We'll be here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And maybe I'll wear a shirt. All right. No promises.
I think the Batman tattoo should have its own Instagram account.
This Batman tattoo has a story behind it. I'll tell them.
I know it has a story behind it.
I'll tell the story on the binge lounge. I'll tell the story.
Okay.
It's got a deep story. All right. What else do we got to do? Oh, nothing else. Let's get to our review. Let's get to our review of Idlewild.
Idlewild.
But first, it's time for, what is it?
Trailer talk.
Trailer talk.
Look at you.
No, I was looking at somebody. They're shouting out that we're doing a binge lounge, something that was in my head.
Okay.
Aaron Fry asked an interesting question. Do you know how many wedding dances I've been to where the bride and groom dance to Endless Love? At least 10. Well, I'm sorry, Aaron. I feel sorry for you and that very unimaginative, boring couple whose wedding you had to sit through.
Every now and then you find something that you go on a jihad over. And I really wasn't expecting Endless Love to be one of those things. But here we are.
I can't remember the last time I've heard Endless Love. And I don't think I've ever heard it at a wedding. I don't know if you.
Oh, of course you have. Of course.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. You know what I hear at weddings? I'll tell you what I hear at weddings. I hear Always and Forever.
Yes.
Heat Wave. I hear Whitney Houston, Greatest Love of All. And what else do I hear? Oh, and I hear Donny Hathaway, Song for You.
Oh, you didn't name what I thought you were going to name. You will get here's an extra dad story. My dad had a side hustle in the 90s where he videotaped weddings.
Oh, cool.
And I would help, I'd help out. And I saw so many people march down the aisle to Luther Vandross's Here and Now.
Oh, you're right. That's a good one. Yes, Here and Now.
And you're talking about like sort of that 80s, 90s pablum R&B. Here and Now is quietly cheesy.
It ain't quietly, it's loud.
But I have such affection for Here and Now because I have all these memories
Being
of
with your dad.
dudes. Well, I mean, being with my dad, but also, I just love black love. And like
Oh, okay.
dudes, like I would see dudes crying as their brides would walk down the aisle in those big old poofy '90s wedding gowns, and
Mm-hmm.
like it's like a dude, but like his bride and Luther singing Here and Now. So every time I hear Here and Now, I have like a real soft spot for Here and Now.
Okay. All right. I feel yeah, but that's a good one. You're right. They did play that as well. I definitely heard Here and Now a lot. Camellia Will 03 says Before I Let Go song that she heard, which is not a love song. But yes, they
Yeah,
play that's one of them songs you play to get everybody, including the old people at the wedding, up on the dance floor.
that's
Like
right.
Frankie
Got to do
Beverly
your
gets
two.
them to the
Got to
dance
do
floor.
your two step. Got to do your little two step.
Well, yeah, but that's hey, Frankie showed us.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie
Mm-hmm.
showed us how to do that two step.
Do your
So
two step.
that's right. Um, let's see. And Jeffrey Thomas said, "Remember, Endless Love was from the Blue Lagoon soundtrack."
That's right.
Wow,
That's
you're really
right.
digging in the crates there,
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh
the
yeah.
Blue Lagoon, the movie that gave us a nude Brooke Shields, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember it was icky. Like Blue Lagoon
Yeah,
was so icky that we were kids and it was icky.
right, right. Action figure expert, you don't hear a shout or the electric slide, of course. That's, I mean, we were thinking more slow songs,
Right,
but of
the
course,
actual wedding. Yeah, not the
yeah,
reception. Yeah,
yeah,
but
of
yeah.
course, electric slide. You can't be a DJ and not have the electric slide in your repertoire.
Boogie woogie woogie.
Do you electric slide, Vince?
I actually don't.
I knew you were
I
going to
actually,
say that.
I
I
actually
knew,
don't.
I knew
I
that you
actually don't.
too cool for school. Vince was not going to get up an electric slide.
There was actually controversy at my wedding. There was controversy
You didn't
at the
electric slide at your
reception.
wedding?
We did not play any line dances, and I have to say, there's part of me that, in retrospect, I'm like, we should have played one or two line
How
dances.
don't you
But
play a
there was actual controversy at my reception where people were asking the DJ, and the DJ said I was given express orders, no line dances.
I mean, what was the thinking behind that? Who was that? Wendy?
No, that was me and Wendy. Like we were of one accord. I
Mm,
don't like all that.
yeah, see, I think that's more you than Wendy.
Hey, look, like I said, in retrospect, if I had to do it all over again, I think somebody could have made an argument for it. But
How don't you
me
have an
myself, I was not going to do it.
So okay, but then what songs did you put in the DJ's quiver to get the people up on the dance floor?
You Know How to Love
Endless
Me by
Love.
Phyllis Hyman was the first song we played that then got people to the dance floor. So it was like 70s, soul music.
You Know How to Love Me?
By Phyllis Hyman? That's
I
a
mean, it's a
banger.
good song. It's a great song, but that's not the song that calls them all to the dance floor.
Sure it is. If you've been playing jazz for a half hour. Hey, 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 hey. We was classy as shit. Oh yeah. You couldn't tell us nothing.
So I I guess after a suite of felonious monk, yes, Phyllis Hyman is
Yes,
going to get you
yes,
to the.
yes. Yes, we cut the cake to John Coltrane and Duke Ellington in a sentimental mood. This is all 100% true, by the way. Oh yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
god!
super classy.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Janine is cracking up. She's like bougie Vincent with no electricity.
You know what? One of my best friends, actually Camille's godmother said, sometimes you got to claim the bougie. Like sometimes you got to embrace it. I don't care. I don't care, y'all. I don't care. Y'all judge all you want. I don't care. Now.
Oh God. I gotta have a conversation with your wife. Oh God. I can't wait to the dinner party. Whenever it is, I'm coming there to cook out, whatever. I'm coming and I'm just gonna sit her down and like, listen, I need receipts. I need receipts. Oh Jesus.
I'm pretty sure we are the first people in the history of the song to dance to At Last by Etta James. We did it first.
That was your first dance?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Oh, look, classy as shit.
That's nice.
Damn, they classy.
I'm trying to think what. I know what we danced to at my wedding.
Don't. Was it Disco Duck?
Ha ha ha. No, it was it was Beauty by Drew Hill.
Okay.
I used to sing that song to her. So
yeah. Yeah, you kept that little tidbit to yourself. These many years.
Well, hey, that it wasn't a long lasting relationship. So oh God. The black 1%, Williams and the Obamas. That's right. That's right. That is right.
See, I thought this was a safe space.
And your brother said, Damon said, line dancing is for cable access.
No, it is actually communal and beautiful. Like it's actually communal. It's beautiful. It brings people together. I've actually come to admire and respect line dancing as the years have gone by, even if I don't participate.
You don't participate? I don't believe you don't. You haven't. You've never line danced. You've had to have line danced.
Look, no, it's too many people.
I mean, you can do it while you're drinking.
It's
more fun when you drink.
It's performance. It's too many people. It's a couple of things involved in line dances that ain't really my thing.
If we do another live event, will you line dance, Vince?
No. Again, I respect it. We should have it. I love the community that it reflects. It's just not my thing. Like everything don't have to be your thing.
Very true.
It's like coconut. People love coconut. I don't like coconut.
I don't like coconut either. So,
but people love coconut, right?
People love coconut. Yes.
Are you against coconut?
I'm not against coconut.
If you had some type of public event and someone said, Lynn, I make a very good coconut cake. Can I bring a coconut cake? Would you say, no, you can't bring it because I'm not eating it?
No, I would say bring it.
Line dancing.
But here's the thing. I've had coconut.
I mean, I know what it looks like. It's too many people. I have space. I have space.
You do have space issues. You do. That is very true. That is very true.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people moving at one time.
You're right. All right. This has been
we should probably do a movie review.
Yes. This has been a very fascinating trailer talk.
You never know. You never know what you really don't. It's pretty free flowing.
Let's get into our review of Idlewild.
All right, hold on. Let me pull up the Jimmy Jam so I can read it.
Oh, and let me pull this up.
All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
All right, give me one moment.
Mm.
All right, I'm ready.
Idlewild, a 2006 American musical film written and directed by Brian Barber. The film stars Andre 3000 and Big Boi of the hip hop duo Outkast and features musical numbers written, produced, and chiefly performed by Outkast. The film contrasts the group's hip hop funk soul sound against a story based on a juke joint in the fictional Depression era town of Idlewild, Georgia in 1935. Besides Andre 3000 and Big Boi, the film also features performances by Terrence Howard, Faison Love, Melinda Williams, Ving Rhames, Ben Vereen, two Blink and You Missed Them cameos by Cicely, Tyson, and Patti LaBelle. And this was the choice of Lynn Webb. Lynn, what say you of 2006's Idlewild, here the second week of Black Music Month here on the Michelle Mission?
Before I tell you anything about Idlewild, I want to tell you a little something about the stars of this film, Outkast. Andre 3000, Andre Benjamin, and Big Boi Antoine Patton, two high school friends who got together in 1992 to create their group, Outkast, originally called Two Shades Deep. Um, deep in the heart of Atlanta, the ATL is baked into their sound, their look, into everything that is Outkast. So much so that their first hit was Players Ball, off of their debut album Southern Playalisticadilla Music, and they would have subsequent releases in 1996 with ATLians and Aquamini. And this was a group that was known for having, you know, this blend of what was hot in hip hop in the 90s all in one group. You had Big Boi Antoine Patton, who was a motor mouth, fast rapping, slick, ultra cool, straight lace from the street, raw dog rapper, blended with his best friend Andre 3000, who was this um just this piece of painting in front of a microphone with all these artistic influences that pulled from the worlds of funk and R&B and jazz and blues, and found its way to just marry into his soul and pour it out on all of his lyrics. And this was a group that had huge hits, especially off of their uh, album in 2000, Stankonia, with Miss Jackson. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. And then B.O.B. They just had crazy, crazy hits, and they were blowing it up. And as much popularity as they were gaining from their hits, they gained even more popularity because of their look and because of their sound, because of their videos, because they were not dressed in oversized sweatsuits. They were not dressed in just big baggy jeans. They weren't gangster rappers. They had a fashion and a style and a swag all unto themselves, and it became what they represented, and how they presented themselves became the look of Southern hip hop in the 90s for all the groups that followed in their wake. Um, And then came Speaker Box, which is when these two souls who for all of their albums had found a way to marry their sounds together on each and every one of their tracks. With Speaker Box, they more or less just released two individual albums as one. It was Speaker Box slash The Love Below, which
Mm-hmm.
featured two insane number one singles, Hey Ya and The Way You Move. Hey Ya was Andre 3000's incredibly rambunctious. To call it hip hop is to really give it a misnomer of a name.
Mm-hmm.
It was just this piece of R&B pop rock magic that just dropped in the lap of radio in the 90s that harkened back to the sounds of the 60s R&B, yet with the swag of the 90s all baked into it. And Andre 3000 sold that song over lyrically, musically, as he was singing a little bit on that, and especially in the video, where his huge expressive eyes, his high cheekbones, his slender build, and his kinetic energy was used to maximum effect. The Way You Move was Big Boi, and that was all about a banging beat. That was all about getting butts out their seats and on the dance floor. It had an R&B progressive vibe to it. Big Boi was doing his thing with the lyrics, but I defy anybody to say if you really, really, really remember the lyrics, because it was all about that insane beat. And that was also true of hip hop in the year 2000. These boys were on top of their game, and people were coming at them in throngs to wanted to be in the Outkast business, especially Andre
Mm-hmm.
3000. But Andre
Mm-hmm.
3000 locking in with lockstep with his bull was like, if you want me, you got to bring my bull with you. You got to bring Big Boi, who was his best friend and who quiet as kept Andre 3000, who, as expressive as he was in everything that he did musically, was always a person who was more reserved when you spoke to him in a public forum. If you spoke to him, like you got him in an interview or anything like that. So Big Boi was kind of like the real big id of Outkast. So he kind of leaned in on that, and especially when it came time for their next project following Speaker Box and The Love Below, which was going to be Idlewild, which was actually going to be this huge music video directed by their longtime music video director, Brian Barber, I believe that was his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brian
Brian
Barber.
Barber. That's right.
And it was going to hark back to the musicals of the 30s and kind of find a way to blend that in with more of the jazzy influence that Andre 3000 had was leaning more and more into in his music, as well as finding a way to marry that with the southern flavored hip hop that Big Boi was so akin to producing. But as it happens, when your star is on the rise, opportunities come knocking at your door to take what was going to be just a simple thing and make it even better. So, out of
Mm.
while, this huge music video project, lo and behold, becomes a movie project. HBO Films, wanting to be in the Outcast business, throws money at them and say, "Yo, let's make this a movie. Let's do this up. All right, cool. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen." And now we can follow perhaps the aesthetic of everything that we did off of our last huge hit, which was The Speaker Box and The Love Below, which was essentially two different albums married together as one project. Let's see if we can't make that work with the Idlewild movie while doing a movie that pays homage to the 30s musicals of uh, of old, while also paying homage to the gangster flicks of old of those times as well, like Public Enemy #1 and Little
Mm-hmm.
Caesar, and so now they've got oh man, they've got this huge opportunity at their fingertips. And Outkast, a one-man shop, wrote all the music for this project. Well, hell, we can also write the movie too. Why don't we do this? Well, you know what? Brian Barber, their director, he's always wanted to
Mm-hmm.
write. So, Brian, you know what we want to do. You're our man. You put this together because you know about putting scripts together, bro. We only know about the lyrics. You put all our ideas, take them together, marry them in this script, and let's make this thing happen, man. All right, cool, dog. I'm with it. Let's make it happen. The budget gets bigger. We've got more opportunities. With that budget comes, this is not going to be a music video. Now it's going to be a movie. Now we've got to cast people. So let's get some names in here. Let's get Terrence Howard. I seen Terrence Howard do some work. Let's get Terrence Howard in this joint. Ben Vereen. Oh, that's my man. That's my song and dance man from way back. Yes, let's bring him in. I want to see him do some work. We need a big boy. We need a big tough dude to just represent just meanness right there on the screen. Ving Rhames, yeah, I can do this for a couple of minutes. Sure, you got me for a day. Then they get bit. That's what my suit I gotta wear. I'm with it. Boom, Ving Rhames comes in. You got Faison Love, always nice to add a little touch of flavor to any project that he's on. And lo and behold, like you said, blink and you miss it. You got Cicely Tyson, and you have um Patti LaBelle in this film. We need a femme fatale. I don't know whether or not Paula Patton was like, how huge she was in 2006, but her star was a little bit on the rise in 2006. Paula Patton's going to lock down on this. Let's get Paula Patton in this. Sure. Is this what we're working on calls for her to sing? Paula Patton doesn't sing. We got you. Don't even worry about it. We got that. Don't even worry about it. We're going to take care of you. They get somebody to dub in her voice for singing. She only got to sing one song anyway, so it's all good. Everything else is going to be handled by Andre 3000, Big Boi, Outkast in the building, because this was supposed to be our music project anyway, so all the music is going to be us too. And because this was going to be our project, boom, we going to be the stars. We are going to be the leads. We know what to do. We've done this in videos time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, we can get up on the camera and star and act and say lines and put one and one together and make two, and we'll be good. And that's where the trouble begins with
I was about to say, so what did you think
Idlewild.
of the movie, though?
That brings us to Idlewild, the movie, where we learn that all of that fantastic charisma and energy and verve and electricity that Outkast brings to every one of their music videos gets turned off the minute they have to say anything that is not a rap lyric. Because the moment they have to act in front of the camera, it's all gone. It was all dust. And to be fair, not so much for Antoine Patton, aka Big Boi, because Big Boi is more or less asked to play a version of himself in this
Mm-hmm.
movie in the role of Rooster, the childhood friend of Andre 3000's character Percival, who was a mortician's son, but also on the low wanting to be a pianist and songwriter. Rooster a bit of a gangster-ish type of dude, but more of a performer at this little juke joint in the town of Idlewild. Big Boi is really pretty much asked to play himself. He's asked to basically be Big Boi, but just dress in 1930s clothes. Okay. And at being Big Boi, he's not bad. The thing about Big Boi, unfortunately, is that Big Boi, for all of his braggadocious in his raps, he's always been, at least from the outside, considered the least interesting of the Outkast duo. And he doesn't do anything in this film from an acting standpoint to prove differently about that, because his acting is just there. He more or less is just saying the lines. He's not really trying to perform in any way, right? And while he's not asked to do a whole lot in this film, he's asked to do some things in this film, and he really can't pull them off. And you can't fault the cast. Big Boi, when he's not reading against Andre 3000, he usually is reading against his wife, who I'm trying to find her name.
Melinda Williams.
Right. Melinda Williams.
Oh yeah, Melinda Williams.
Zora, that was her name. His wife, Zora, Melinda Williams, who is giving, Melinda Williams a good actress, and she gives it her all in this movie. But there is no chemistry between the two of them, because Big Boi is pretty much just saying his lines. He has some scenes against Ving Rhames. Of course, he can't do anything against Ving Rhames because it's Ving Rhames. You're not going to, if you don't know what you're doing from an acting standpoint, you're not going to show up Ving Rhames, right? He has to act against Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard, come on, dog. Come on. That's not even fair. That's not even fair. Terrence Howard, as part of the script, pretty much just beats up Rooster the entire movie, and that's what Terrence Howard, the actor, is doing to Big Boi.
Yes,
he is just beating him up left and right, and
him around.
Smacking him around with the script, and smacking him around literally in the film, right? So there's that. The bigger problem in this film, and there's two huge problems, and both of them are problems 1A and 1B. 1A is that the emotional heft of this film is left to be carried by Andre 3000, Andre Benjamin, who from afar has always struck us as the most interesting member of Outkast, with his wild, exotic fashions and demeanor, and not for nothing, his loud and expressive way of delivering his songs when you see him in the videos or see him on stage and performing. However, Andre 3000, asked to play, like I said, Percival, a mortician's son in this movie, is asked to be just very down. He wants to be a performer, but his father is against him being a performer, so he's got that weight on him. He can't find a way to get involved with a woman. I don't know whether or not he's played as a virgin or not. He certainly seems he's played as someone who has not a lot of experience with women. So he's down about that. But down doesn't mean have no energy. Down doesn't mean do not be present in a moment. It doesn't mean that you can't show some level of inflection in your voice and in your reading of a line, or in your change your look, the look in your demeanor as a scene is playing out. He is stuck in one face, one tone, one frame of mind, the entire film, regardless of whether or not he is being browbeaten by his father, regardless of not of whether or not he's having a good time playing the piano on stage, regardless of not of whether or not he is in a very awkward uh, sex scene with Paula Patton, regardless or not of whether he's supposed to be mad, regardless of whether or not he's supposed to be sad, regardless of not the 1.5 seconds of time when he actually is supposed to laugh in this movie, he is the exact same face and level of energy throughout this film. And that is not cool because everything is this movie really rests on his shoulders.
Absolutely.
And that is not cool. That is just not getting over at all. And the other reason why this is not getting over is because of the direction and the script by Brian Barber. The script borrows from everything. I talked about paying homage to the 30s musicals, paying homage to the gangster films of the 30s. This film like lifts whole, parts of those films for this film. Like the whole idea of the gangster trying to get out of the business, so he's selling off his business to the best offer. Of course, his second banana is going to is going to turn the tables on him. That's right out of an Edward G. Robinson movie from the 30s, right? The whole idea of, the girl, Paula Patton's character, who is steal someone else's name so that she can try to make it on the stage, but she's a little nervous, but she's got a piano player that's going to be able to help her through. That's stolen right out of a Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers movie, right? I mean, all of this stuff, it's just lifted out of these films. And that's fine. If you can make it work in this setting, maybe you can pull it off. But then your direction has to be tight. First thing we've talked about when you're doing a musical, and especially if it's a musical with musical numbers and dancing, is that there are moments when you just need to lock down the damn camera and let the people perform in front of the camera. Let the dancers do their work in front of the camera. But Brian Barber, coming from a music video background where everything is all multiple cuts and slow-mos and quick cuts and intense close-ups and 3 body shots of people performing, he doesn't know how to shoot a musical. He doesn't know how to shoot performances. So those performances come off as very sloppy. The energy is really off. It doesn't match, and you really can't enjoy the performances. It doesn't help that the songs as written by Outkast are not the best Outkast songs. They are not memorable at all. There's not a memorable song in the Idlewild soundtrack. I defy you to find one. But that doesn't help. But maybe if you marry it with some good visuals, maybe that works. Okay, he can't shoot a performance. Doesn't make sense because he's a music video person, but maybe he'll lock down the camera and be able to shoot just some regular scenes. Oh no, he can't do that either because everybody's in shadow. There's a moment where everybody is literally in shadow. Their whole face is in shadow. When Paula Patton first comes into the movie, she is in total shadow. Paula Patton, who is a very good-looking woman, but a very light-skinned woman, you just put a bulb on her, you should be able to see her face. She's in complete shadow through much of the opening of this film. There are other moments where, the camera is in the wrong place to catch this person's dialogue. It's just a very badly directed, very badly staged, very awkward film. How are you going to have a film that's supposed to be harking back to the 30s musicals, and you got Patti LaBelle for a cameo, and Patti LaBelle is on screen for literally 1 minute of time, and she does not sing a lick. She doesn't even hum. She doesn't do anything musical at all. She's in a club. She's about to go perform, but you don't hear her. You don't see her perform.
Well, that costs extra.
Well, yes, apparently. I have a funny feeling Patti LaBelle didn't even know she was going to be in the film until the camera showed up backstage and said, "Patti LaBelle, can you do us a favor real quick?" Cicely Tyson shows up a half hour before the movie ends in the middle of the road. I'm not even sure the character has a name. She literally is just there for the character's name might as well be religious dialogue, because she's just there to give a religious dialogue, to give some type of, motivation to a rooster's character. Makes no sense. Good dialogue. She pulls it off. She's Cicely Tyson. What else she gonna do? But it just comes complete. I mean, literally, she shows up in the middle of the road, ladies and gentlemen. She just pops up out of nowhere. So that makes no sense. And how is this movie 2 hours long?
In 1 minute.
2 hours and 1 minute. And I lie to you not, ladies and gentlemen, the movie ends at an hour 45. There's another 20 minutes.
I actually wrote in my notes, how are there 17 minutes left?
There's like 17 minutes of movie after everything is wrapped up.
Yep. It's dead bodies everywhere. The villain is gone. And then it said 17 minutes. I said, wow, that's quite an epilogue.
This is crazy. And plus, this film features one of the most, I text this to Vince, it features one of the most "are you kidding me" moments that I've ever seen in a film. In a world where there is a juke joint where people get up and dance and they have a good time, there's music, there's cars playing left and right. Rooster is talking to an animated flask in this movie. There are little musical notes running around on paper left and right in this movie. Cute little touch. Feels out of place in the movie, but a cute little touch. But in this world where we learn that people take photographs, people take pictures. The only pictures that are taken in this film are of dead people. Yeah. And not just taking pictures of dead people. It's not crime photos, not crime scene photos, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. These are decorated, posed people for a photograph. Now, spoiler alert for a film that is already 15 years old. One of the photos is of Paula Patton's character, Angel, beautifully adorned in a casket, and a photo of her taken in the casket. But just a couple of minutes before then, we see, it's a little blurry, but we see an image of Paula Patton's dead body slouched on a chair in a wedding gown.
Yes.
Are you effing kidding? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, Vince? With this movie, Idlewild, there is nothing wild about this movie. There is nothing idle about this movie, and unfortunately, there is also nothing good about this movie.
I will start with what I disagree with, which will be short. I disagree with you about Big Boi. I actually like Big Boi. I think Big Boi is charming. I think Big Boi is
Really?
charismatic. I think there is a level of charisma to Big Boi that I get, like, on a scale of 1 to T.I., as far as rappers who have now become actors,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to, you know, multi-hyphenates like Will Smith or Queen Latifah or Mos Def,
Or
like rappers
LL.
who, or LL, but like you know, as good as T.I. is, I think T.I. is still a rapper who's become an actor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like Big Boi is about a 7. Like, I get Big Boi. Like, I like Big Boi in this. I like Big Boi in ATL. I've seen Big Boi in something else. Like, I get Big Boi. And that is pretty much the only thing I really disagree with you about. And even that isn't a real disagreement, as it is just a shade, a different shade of what you said.
Okay.
Like you, I think the biggest problem of this film is everyone put their money on Andre 3000.
Yep.
Like, everyone said, much like you said, like you know, it's the two of them, and you separate the duos, and you know, whether we are talking about you know, I can't think of a third example, but I always think of, you know, Q-Tip was the artsy one, Fife is the streety one, and
Mm-hmm.
we always try and attribute these sort of personality traits to
Mm-hmm.
these MCs. Like you said, Andre 3000 is sort of the artsy one, sort of the deep one, and Big Boi always wore the fitted.
Right.
So if you were going to make this movie, it seems like you would make, as you said, Andre 3000 the emotional center
Right.
with the love story and everything that you said. And it's just not there. Like, it's just not there. And it really hurts that I think there are some interesting pieces here. Like I actually like the storyline about Big Boi's character Rooster trying to juggle his family life with the always welcome Melinda Williams. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
so many actors in here that I just love. Like, I love Melinda Williams, and what I hope is that she made so much soul food money that she just doesn't have to work anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Always good to see Melinda Williams. We've talked about Paula J. Parker before. Always good to see Paula J. Parker. I feel like that triangle was interesting, and I like when there's a moment where
There's
Paula
not a
J.
lot of
Parker
it though.
leaves. Well, Paula J. Parker leaves the film, and I actually put it in my notes. No, like, she leaves the film just as they elevate Paula Patton, who I'm really sort of neutral about Paula Patton. Like, I've
Yeah, me
seen her
too.
in a couple of things that I like, and then she's just sort of non-distracting. But Paula Patton to me was the least interesting actress in this film,
I see. I agree. I agree.
even behind Macy
See,
Gray.
Gray.
So it's like the least interesting actress of all the actresses in this film, Andre 3000, who just it just isn't there. If they're at the center of the film, in my mind, everything else falls apart. I think everything you said about the direction and you know, and Brian Barber wasn't a filmmaker. Like you said, he was a video maker. He made videos, and this film looks like something that someone who is more comfortable with the language of videos made. If you have a stronger center, I think a lot of his missteps, we can say, could be forgivable. I like Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard actually has a line in here that I say all the time. Like, it's actually become part of my personal mantra, where at one point, Rooster says to him, basically, who says you're in charge? And his character says, who gonna tell me I'm not?
That's right.
And I love this braggadocio. I love this sort of, I'm going to take everything that people, I love this about him. Ving Rhames, as you say, for the moment that he's in here, really inhabits this role of this gangster. Like, I think Faison Love has really perfected this funny menace balance.
Yeah, he's found a role for himself.
Like he very much is a guy who you don't take seriously until you have to take him seriously. Poor Ben Vereen, I think, thought he was going to be in an August Wilson play.
Yeah.
Like Ben Vereen looked like he prepared for this role. Like, there are moments between Ben Vereen and Andre 3000 where I wonder if Ben Vereen did his scenes with the green screen. Because they are in two completely different universes.
That's true.
The way Ben Vereen is acting as this kind of complicated, alcoholic, verbally abusive, but just broken man. And then there's Andre 3000.
Well, I almost feel like Ben Vereen's never struck me as the most subtle actor, but I almost feel like he's maybe even trying to overcompensate a little bit because he's not being given anything back, because that's the only person he really acts against in the entire film.
But it is like a black hole of acting that just sucks Andre 3000 in, so that there are moments where the two of them are on the screen together where Andre 3000 is just invisible.
I agree, but there's one moment where Andre 3000 is supposed to be angry at his father. He's supposed to be screaming at his father. And Andre, and you can almost feel, and maybe I'm putting feelings into the scene that aren't there, but you can almost feel Ben Vereen like primed for, okay, he's going to give it to me. And Andre is like, Father, no, why'd you? I'm like, dog, I mean, come on. What do you want Ben Vereen to do? He's still got to sell a scene because these are the only scenes I got.
Right. I will say I like the budget. I like the costumes. I'm always a halfway sucker for a black period piece that looks like it was well financed. And you mentioned it sort of offhanded with Ving Rhames' suit. People look good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, everybody looks very, very good. So I give credit where credit is due. But I really do think this is a misfire because people put their chips on aspects. Yeah, basically Andre. People put their chips on Andre 3000. And there was this moment. There was this 2-3 year window where you saw that it, like, you could see everyone was trying to prime him to kind of get to that level or to take that kind of leap. People we've mentioned that Will Smith leap, that Queen Latifah leap, to a certain extent, although it seems like he's gone off and done other, like Mos Def. There was a period where Mos Def was doing a lot of acting, and it just isn't there. And it's a shame. It's a shame because like I said, people were there for it.
Yeah, I think Mos Def or Yassine Bey, let's give him his props, is definitely the the person to compare with when it comes to Andre 3000, because you got to remember Andre 3000 not long after this gets cast in the Jimi Hendrix movie, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's
You
right.
know, which seems like a part made for him, right?
Yes.
And he doesn't pull that off either. The other, like, the really bad part about this is that he's so low key, and I think, to be fair to him, I think he is acting. I don't think this is a matter of him not trying to act. I think it's him just doing the wrong thing acting wise, because at the end of the film, when he finally decides to make his own break, as it were, and we see him performing, um he's supposed to kind of like be in his in his world now and
Right. Right.
happy with his
Hmm.
life, and even then he's still performing very low key. He's still not leaning into it. He doesn't You don't see him lean into anything or become the Andre 3000 that you're aware of until after that, and that song ends. And then there's another track which is decidedly just a music video, which is
Right.
decidedly just Andre 3000 now on stage. And now all of a sudden he's expressive. The eyes are going, he's dancing, he's
Yeah.
grooving.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, where was this for
Right. Right.
two
For the
hours
past
and
2 hours.
1 minute?
Yeah. You know something else about the performances, and I'm wondering if what I'm about to say informed your lackluster response to the dance numbers. I remember in 2006 really enjoying the dance numbers.
Okay.
And I have to say, Brian Barber's decision to sort of show the link between the energy of the 30s and this type of dancing and the performance and hip hop, I kind of like the instinct.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there is this continuum of black performance. But the difference between 2006 and now is, I think, at least I'll just speak for myself. I don't remember seeing as much footage of performances from the 20s and 30s as I do now. Like, now
Okay.
you just sort of scroll through social media and people are always posting little clips
Mm-hmm.
from the 20s and 30s and these wonderful clips of people dancing. You and I have talked a couple of times, whether when we were looking at Stormy Weather, whether we watched what was it, the Cab Calloway movie, that Heidi
Oh,
Ho,
Heidi Ho, yeah.
Heidi Ho, where we're even talking about someone like the Mills Brothers plus Lois.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have so much more access to this footage,
Mm-hmm.
and it paled in comparison so much. Like the energy that you see in these old performances,
Mm-hmm.
even the performance you're talking about with Andre 3000, where it has the two slides, which is very much a reference to that wonderful Nicholas Brothers
Yes.
performance,
Yes.
where they do the stairs dance. This in no way can compare to that clip
No.
with the Nicholas Brothers dancing up the steps and then sliding down. The dance sequences where everyone is doing the jitterbug and they're like, when you see the actual performances from the
Mm-hmm.
20s and 30s,
Mm-hmm.
that crazy manic, we're doing all this because we're fighting segregation energy that you get from them clips,
Mm-hmm.
it just isn't here. And to me, it made me go, well, I guess this is all right. But it made me want to, it made me want to, again, look up something. I wanted to look up the Mills Brothers plus Lois
Right. Right.
and watch them perform.
But you don't even have to go that far back. What made those moments lackluster for me was from a direction standpoint. Like I said, you at some point you don't. Yes, you're going to have cuts, But at some point, you've got to lock down the camera and let the people
Hmm.
perform. Let people, take in what is happening and trust people's eyes that they will follow where they're supposed to if the performance has been choreographed smartly. And people will do that. They know where they will go where you are leading them, right? But you've
Right.
got to
Right.
lock down the camera and trust to do that, right? Also, if you think back to those musicals, and you don't have to go back to the 30s musicals. I mean, you can go back there, but you don't have to go back there. You can go right to School Days by Spike Lee. And you
I
could
was
go,
going to say Malcolm X if you want to do a 1-to-1.
okay, you could go there, but I was thinking about
The
at least
dance
School
sequence.
Days, because School Days is a musical and it's got that huge dance sequence in there. It the first thing that you learn about a musical is that it's a marriage of two elements. It's the performance, whether or not it's the person singing or the dancing that is happening, and the music. The visuals is just a way to broadcast that, which
Hmm.
means that you let the performance slash dancing rule, and the music should be all you hear. You don't need to hear, clicking of the shoes or anything like that, unless it's the tap dancing or anything like that.
Hmm.
That you don't need to hear any other ambient noise. You should just
Hmm.
hear the music. The music should swell at that moment to fill the screen, as it were, and so that you are transported into that moment of this musical performance. No, that does not happen at any time in this movie. If you want to argue against it maybe happening when your music is being used as the backdrop for an action scene, like there's a car chase scene that happens
Hmm.
in this film, that's one thing. But when it's supposed to be, the music is supposed to be what is actually happening here on stage in this space, then that should be all you are taking in. And that doesn't happen in this film. And if you go back to School Days, that's what happens. If you go back
Yeah.
to the greatest musicals, that's what happens. If you go to music videos, if you're a music video
Right.
guy, that is what happens. And that
Well,
doesn't happen in this film.
well. Again, I'm thinking of that great dance sequence at the beginning of Malcolm X,
Yeah, yeah.
when he's
I know where you're going.
or even the dance sequence in something like Rage in Harlem. Like, I'm thinking about things that we've talked about,
Or dance sequences in Tap. Remember Tap?
or the dance sequences in Tap. So, but yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. I guess this is sort of pro forma at this point. But would you recommend Idlewild?
No. Stay away. I'm sorry. I'm a huge Outkast fan. I'm a huge fan of both of them. I agree they both have amazing charisma. Um, but this is not a good display for them, for their music, and for the performers in there. You've seen them do way better in other things. So
Hmm.
no, I can't recommend Idlewild. There's nothing about this film I can recommend it for.
I want to. I want to, and there's like a lot of movies that I want to recommend where there are bits and pieces to pluck at, but you really kind of deflate even that argument when you say everyone in here that I really like, whether it is a Melinda Williams or Paula J. Parker or a Terrence Howard or Ving Rhames or hell, Macy Gray,
Mm,
have done better work.
yep.
Like Macy Gray is in here for a minute, but she's in Training Day for a minute too, and she's better in Training Day.
Yep.
So unfortunately, even that argument that I want to make is falling apart here in real time. So I don't think I can recommend it either, and it's a shame. It's a shame because it was a real missed opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. It really, I mean, it is. It is. It's a good title. I mean, it was right in the time where it was primed to blow them up even
Look,
further.
and again, money. You can see that the studio spent money on this,
Mm-hmm.
which is always something that
Yeah.
is worthwhile. But yeah, unfortunately, I too will say that this is something that you can skip.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, if you don't want to take our word for it, ladies and gentlemen, feel free. Check out Idlewild.
That is the weirdest thing to me that you said. Like they just sat here with us, listening to us.
I mean, because
Hey, you're like a stereotypical '90s Italian gangster. Hey, what do I know? What do I know over here?
I'm just being real, man. I'm just being real. Like, there's some point where, in doing these reviews, I think, like, especially when you don't like a film, and like the creator sees that you don't like the film, and they're like, oh, what do these guys know, right? So
These guys know.
I'm like, yeah, you're right. What
You
do we
don't have
know?
to tell them though. Like I think everyone knows what are these guys. Hey, what do I know over here?
Well, I mean, look, I told you don't see it, but I was straight up, don't see it. If you want to, go ahead, rock on.
And I don't want to hear your mouth.
Just don't ask me.
Like that's what you really say. That's what you really say. I don't want to hear your mouth.
Exactly. That's basically what I'm saying. That's basically what I'm saying.
Nice. That's nice, man. That's nice. What do I know? Go see it.
But don't say I ain't tell you.
But don't say I didn't tell you.
Don't be dropping in my DMs like, man, I went and saw Idlewild. I ain't tell you to see that shit.
Nice. That's nice.
I told you to watch Ray.
Right?
Right. Okay.
So you only do it when it's one that you don't recommend. Like when you like it, you say, okay, go see it. But then if you don't like it, you say, what do I know?
Well, you know what? Okay, to be fair though,
I kind of like that though. Like you don't want to give too much authority
right
to negativity.
And plus, at the end of the day, these are black creatives that got together. They didn't get together to make a bad movie.
Right.
So give them some love.
Right. So okay. Well, all right. See, I kind of like that. So when we like it, it is almost this air of authority where we say this gets the stamp of approval. Go see this.
Right.
But if we don't like it, you really privilege and put a spotlight on the subjectivity of criticism.
Exactly.
Like at the end of the day, where we're, hey, look, like Moses didn't tell us that this was a bad movie. Like Moses didn't come down with two slabs that said this was a bad movie.
Thou shalt not Idlewild.
Right. I know we're doing this in real time, but it did kind of too. It always it tickles me when you do that at the end of the show. Hey, well, what do we know? But now I see the pattern, and I kind of respect that. I respect that. I like that. So when we like it, go see Ray. Bam. And although Moses didn't tell us that Ray was a good movie, we just look. We're gonna stand on this. Like we stand on Ray.
Right. We stand on Ray.
But like Medea goes to jail, we go, hey, what do I know?
We stand to the side.
Hey, what do I know?
Hey.
Okay. All right. That's all I needed.
All right.
This is what happens when they don't write us. I feel like I have the freedom to do this kind of thing. Like we're at the end of the show, but I really did. And like every time you do it, I always mean to ask you, but then the show's over. Because you do. He's like, don't take our word for it. Hey, what do we? Hey, what do we know? And that is what you sound like in my head. Like you sound like a dude who's like the third extra in the fourth season of The Sopranos. Hey, what do I know? Hey. Hey, it's Lenny two times. Lenny two times. What do I know? We called him Lenny two times because he said everything two times.
Ah!
Hey, what do I know? Hey, what do I know?
That reminds me, at the height of The Sopranos, I was working at this job, and this guy came in named Herb, and this was a job where you had to wear ties, and he only had two ties, right?
Uh-huh.
And he came walking up, and just out of the blue, I just said, "Yo, Herbie, two ties." And
Hey, it's every
my
two times over
manager,
there.
my manager, who was a Sopranos fan, cracked the fuck up. Just died laughing. And he was Herb Two Ties for the rest of the time that I was.
Hey, it's Herb two times over here. What do I know?
Gonna get the papers. Gonna get the papers. Anyway, that's a good fellow reference.
Hey, what do we know?
Okay, all right. This is
All right,
dissolved. This is dissolved to madness. All right. Before we tell you what will be on the podcast next week, but we'll be streaming live tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah.
We invite you to email us all of your thoughts and concerns. Email us, please, so that you don't you don't want an opening like this of this episode, like this episode was. Please email us at mishowmission@gmail.com. Mishow is MICHEAUX MISSION@gmail.com. Like and follow us on all of the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube, everywhere on social media. We are at Me Show Mission. And Two Men, One Podcast, every black film ever made. Go to meshowmission.com. Our new website, which has been totally upgraded. Our website has got a whole huge upgrade right now. I think it looks pretty good if I do say so myself as the guy who designed it. I think it looks pretty fly.
It does look good. You see what I did? Boom.
Thank you.
Like
all of our
Moses.
episodes are not up there just yet. We've got about a good 40 episodes up there, but all of our episodes will be making its way to our new website over the next few weeks. But go check it out at meshowmission.com. And if nothing else, write us and tell us what you think of the new website. That's where you can also subscribe to the Me Show Mission Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, to let people know what's coming up next on the show and give you some insight on things that are going on in the Me Show Mission world. On last week's Me Show Mission Dispatch, we actually gave a link to the We Are the World story that Vince referenced last week on the show. So we actually put a link to that story in the Me Show Mission Dispatch. So that's where you can find that. And you can also hit swag there to check out all of the cool designs that are available for your buying pleasure, courtesy of our good friends at T Public. And the Me Show Mission is also a proud member of the Podglomerate curated podcast for your earbuds. Go to thepodglomerate.com. And we should also let you know that this episode of the Me Show Mission is sponsored. It's sponsored by Scribd.com. Scribd.com, endless entertainment and knowledge. You can read or listen anytime, anywhere. You can get download audio books, download magazines. You can download books. It's all there at Scribd.com. And if you use the promo code MM for the Me Show Mission, you get a free 60-day trial of this endless world of entertainment and knowledge. Go to Scribd.com. That's SCRIBD.com/MM for a free 60-day trial. All right. Next week and tomorrow on the Me Show Mission, we are continuing our celebration of Black Music Month, and it is Vince's turn to select the film that we will be watching. And he has a very underappreciated and slept on gem for us, Vince. Is that right?
Well, I'm not going to say unappreciated or slept on. I will say it is a film that does not get a lot of attention, and that would be the film Scott Joplin, a Motown production
Oh,
starring Billy D. Williams from
okay.
1970. You wouldn't happen to have it in front of you, would you?
I believe it's 1977.
Seven, maybe?
I believe. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
actually the
from
year.
1977. So we will be talking about that on the next episode.
Oh, wow. I am looking forward to that. Most certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too. I've never
1977.
actually seen it. Yeah, I've never actually seen it. So
I never heard of it. So,
me either. Me either. I never heard of it before a few weeks ago, and I thought I knew all the Motown movies.
right. And it came out in
And then
1977. And as far as I'm concerned, there's only one movie that came out in 1977.
Corvette Summer.
That was in 1977.
I know. I was trying to make the joke. As I was saying it, I was like, I think Corvette Summer came out in 78 or 79.
Right.
I know. Probably 78, because didn't he shoot it around the same time as Star Wars?
That's a good question. I actually think it came out before, but I could be wrong. But yes, the Star Wars came out in 1977.
Yes, 77.
Yeah.
Oh, now did Corvette Summer couldn't have come out before Star Wars because that was the whole deal.
Oh, is that because that's the
that was the film he was in afterwards?
Because that's the film that Mark Harmon had the car accident in, right?
No, it's 78.
Yeah, right, because he had the car accident in that.
Right. It was the first. Yeah, it was the first. It was his first appearance after Star Wars. So yeah,
Right.
I was trying to see, but I thought maybe it was shot in 77 because I know they were completely unprepared for it to be a deal, and then it was only a deal because
Mark Harmon,
Mark
Hamill
was in it. Yeah,
Mark Hamill. That's right.
All right. So yes, 77 was Star Wars.
You know, we were talking
And
about the movie.
Joplin, apparently.
I'm about to say we were talking about the movie we're going to review, and we already dipped onto another movie.
I was about to say, that's never a good sign. Because we didn't even get distracted by Star Wars. We started talking about a Star Wars curio. Oh, you mean Corvette Summer, the film that Luke Skywalker made after Star Wars.
Let's get the details on that one.
Well, we'll talk about Corvette Summer tomorrow.
Yeah, yes. On the Scott Joplin show.
Yeah.
Until then, ladies and gentlemen, he's Vince, I'm Len, and in parting we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.
Be well. Bye-bye. End.